Here we are, bottom of the Smash Mountain. I would like to thank my supporters over at patreon.com/bsmpod for continuing to support me and what I'm doing. I'm very, very pleased to bring to you another TO to the podcast, one of the favorite groups of people to talk to in the Melee and in general Smash community, because TOs help keep things rolling, give us such great, excellent tournaments to look forward to, be it weeklies, locals, regionals, or majors, super majors. And then today, Schmeez, who hails from the country that's above the United States. I'll try to be as general as I can, but very excited to talk to you because I love hearing about Canadian Smash. I've spoken to a few people from that side of things before, but it's so cool to have you on today. Schmeez, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure. I have watched a couple of your videos, actually. I mean, I believe the first one I did see was the one that's pinned on your Twitter, because that one just got a lot of attention, obviously, with PPU. So I really like the format, and I really like the free form style of interview / podcast vibe that you have. And then Slum tagged me in your thread once, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I feel like I don't have the exact clout for it. I feel like I don't have the exact clout for this, but we'll get there someday.
I'm sorry that this isn't radio Melee, but here at on this particular podcast, I love speaking to people who like Melee, and so there's a really big group of people who like Melee. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I guess it would be impossible to have everybody on. Maybe I don't want everybody on. I don't know. For people who I think are cool and do Melee stuff, it allows me to speak to people that aren't just Toph and PPU, who are great guests, sure. And they do that really, really well. It's fun. It's fun to talk to people who you watch play or commentate and you go, wow, they're so cool. But it is equally as awesome the prospect of being able to talk to people who just keep things moving, who either play the game on a semi-competitive scale, or who like doing artwork or music or the TOing stuff, of course, you being that's your primary role within Melee. But you did not start off as a TO. I know that there are some people who get into it really, really quickly. I think Wisely, shout outs to Wisely, started TOing within the first few tournaments he attended, just locals. He would start helping with pools and doing all that kind of stuff out in Minnesota. So that's really fun. But for you, when you first got into Melee, what was the thing that drew you in? What got you into the game?
So competitively, or just from like a spectator standpoint, I didn't really know about competitive Melee before my first year in university. So that would have been the 2017-2018 year. And from there, let me just preface with, I'm from Toronto. I go to the University of Toronto, and we have a Smash Club there that primarily focuses on Melee. There is also an Ultimate one, but the one I am a part of primarily focuses on Melee. So I had a bunch of, upper year friends at the school who were super into Melee, because we had a setup in our lounge area. So you could pretty much see doubles going on at all times, because there was one setup. And obviously, when there's one setup in a lounge where people come and go, you're not going to see people just doing singles. And so I started to just play doubles without really having any Melee experience. I had done a little bit of Brawl in high school, and that's about it. Smash 4 was just a very casual period of my life. I just was like, oh, this is a cool new Smash game. I played the Brawl version back when it first came out in like 2007. So when I finally got into Melee, I think the first live set, or one of the first things that I saw that drew me to want to actually be in Melee more than just a casual individual, was the HBox moment at Evo 2016. I just saw that in one of the compilations I was looking at. I'm like, maybe I should just see what's out there in terms of Melee content. And then the Evo moments list showed up. So I went through that. I'm like, oh, that is so incredibly hype and emotional. And obviously, people that get into people that aren't super familiar with the competitive scene, just generally, I feel like are going to be attracted to the hype that it offers to you as a spectator, before you look at any of the other aspects of competitive melee. So that's what got me into melee. And then my first live set that I ever saw was, I believe, GTX 2017. Sorry, live tournament, GTX 2017, where it ended with HBox Armada Grands. So yeah, big HBox fan from the start. And obviously, me being an engineering student, I could relate to his aspect of his melee career, just a little bit, and I felt like that relation was enough for me to want to be a part of the community more.
There's a couple of different things happening there that I love a lot, which is there's always going to be a certain draw that Melee has because it's such a fun game to watch. And you don't have to understand everything that's going on in the first couple of things that you see, because it's pretty clear that when one character is flying away and everybody's freaking out, something cool just happened. So even if you don't play the game on a regular basis, if you've played it once or twice, that's enough for you to understand the basics of the game. And so you can see someone moving so much faster and doing something really cool on the screen to their opponent, and you just go, wow. But I also love, it's the storyline stuff. When you saw Hungrybox in that Evo compilation, and then you see a live tournament, you weren't there at GTX, you were just watching this on the stream.
Yeah.
Right.
I was just watching the stream, yeah.
And yet again, it's the same scenario, because you would have seen, after that compilation, you probably read or saw the entire grand final set for Evo 2016. So you know that this is the same scenario. Hungrybox is coming out of losers. Yep. It's been a bit of a tough top 8 to get up there, but these are the number 1 and number 2 seeds. One of them is supposed to win, so here we go. Yep. And yet again, it's another game 10, and it's just, it's wild that in the last game on Yoshi's Story, which is of course a strong counter pick for Armada to go against Hungrybox with, and yet he's almost just smiling the entire time he's making that comeback.
I remember that very vividly. HBox is 3 stocks to 1 down, and he just smirks without even looking at the camera. He just lets out a little chortle. And then he wins. And big, I don't know, I feel like I've always been a big fan of the energy that HBox brings to like IRL melee. Like just as a player, as a person, don't know him very much beyond him being a streamer and a competitive player, and I feel like it's unfair for me to judge any of those aspects of his life, and that's what I try to do, in a community like this, where people sort of are quick to idolize top players and pretend that they know them as people, when really we only know them as their competitive persona. Obviously, content pieces like this and the Smash Doc has let us, dive a bit deeper into people's personal lives a bit more, and their motivations and how they've grown as a melee competitor. And I feel like those content pieces are super important for this sort of emotional connection that competitive melee provides. And I feel like that's one of the biggest reasons that we're still going, because without the storylines or without those emotions, melee is not as hype as it is. Yeah, pretty much. I just love this game, dude, and there really isn't a reason that I can say in a single sentence, but it's just a summation of so many different things that have attracted me and have kept me here in my growing roles in the melee community, and like whether it's among my friends at my university, or whether it's in some top players Discord, whether it's running my online bracket, running my in-person bracket, or just playing unranked. There's just always something that gets me torqued whenever I start it up, and I hope I can stay excited about this game for years to come.
So we all know the balloon thing. It goes up when it has helium inside of it. Yep. One of the things that I used to be amused by, and I'd be amused by this for more than just a couple of minutes. My parents were probably like, this is the key to get Jesse to hold still. Just give him a balloon that has helium in it. Because what I would do is I would hold the string and let the balloon come up. I'd flick my wrist and bring it down just off of one flick. I wouldn't pull it down with my entire arm. I'd pull it down because I would want to see how little motion can I do here to get it to come all the way back down. And so it would just, just come down and then it would go up and come down and go up. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it makes me think about when I first found out about Melee. It was 2006. I should say competitive Melee in 2006 on YouTube. Some of the first videos like PC Chris versus Ken at MLG New York. I would see that and I'd go, oh, wow, that's so cool. Oh, I would love to do that. And I would try short hopping laser with Falco, the very next day, that kind of stuff. But I didn't go to tournaments. I didn't delve further in. I didn't get a Smashboards account. And every now and again, I'd be minding my own business through the years on YouTube and I'd see something new come out. I would see the documentary and go, oh, I really want to go, but I probably shouldn't. I don't know. Maybe it's not for me. I give my excuses to get out or to stay away, I should say. So, in other words, there'd be these tugs on my heart of Melee, and I would keep getting close to the bottom of that funnel where I'm become an obsessed crazy person that does 100 plus podcast episodes about Melee. But I wasn't there until 2018, and even still, I wasn't podcasting until the beginning of last year of 2021. So, what I like hearing from you, and I think this is true for a lot of people, it usually takes more than one thing, and I think that's not bad, by the way. Melee is not the only thing in life where if you see something that's really cool or hear a song that's really cool, you might not even ask yourself, who's the artist? Where can I listen to this song again? Maybe you just enjoy the experience in that moment. The radio plays another song and you move on. But then when you hear it a second time, you go, I'm not letting it get away this time. I'm going to find out what the song is. And then you put it on your playlist. You're good to go. Mm-hmm. Melee can be that way as well. And what I like hearing is that there are multiple instances where maybe you were, or maybe occasionally you might feel that floating up, you're kind of floating away from the game and the community, but then something tugs you back down and now you're back in the sauce yet again, Schmeez. So tournament organizing is part of this. I'd love to hear about some of your first tournament experiences and then how it gets you into where you say to yourself, I could run tournaments. I could do this House Fest, or I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy at a bar or whatever. By all means.
Yep. Right. So, I mean, I feel like it's not too complicated of a story, but it is, multiple different experiences that sort of combine to get me here. So like I said, I started at the university. We used to run a Smash Club. I just started off by, going to their weeklies on Wednesdays, and we had like this little basement area. Oh, my mic. And we had this little basement area where we had 8 CRTs. And we would give or take get like 20 to 30 people weekly, just because the university is big enough and it's right in downtown Toronto. So, I mean, Toronto is a very active region in terms of how many players we have. So people would, come to any weekly that's sort of easily accessible. And being a university, there's public transit just all around. So I would see all different levels of skill. And I would be like, damn, I can barely move in this game. But I'm just going to, go into the deep end, because I feel like that's how a lot of people just start. They're people don't, I mean, maybe now that we have so many tools to practice and whatnot. But back 3 or 4 years ago, I felt like even the newcomers sort of just started playing, and then they either, felt the energy and feel and to get better, or they just sort of fizzled out into casuals / spectators. So for me, it was a little bit different. I went into my first bracket. I got absolutely destroyed by I think 2 Falcos, and I was like, "Damn, this character is crazy." I don't really have. I don't know what to do, and so from there, I started, helping out the actual executives of the club to put the setups up, take the TVs down, put them in their closet, just general stuff to do with tournament organizing. From there, I started, making sure people went to their sets while also playing my own, and just tried to get involved so that so that I would have a reason to stay active, not just as a player. Because I liked the game and I wanted to give myself that reason. So started off, like I said, by calling sets, by recording set scores for a couple months. So this is all like early 2018, pretty much. And from there, I started watching more Melee. I started playing more Melee, and I finally started, practicing a bit on my own. Oh yeah, just to let the viewers, I mean, the people that know me know that I play Pikachu, but just to let you and the rest of your audience know, I am pretty much dedicated Pikachu player. The reason I play Pikachu is because I started my Smash life with Brawl, and in the Brawl opening cinematic, Pikachu thunders like 3 characters off of him, um, and they go flying, and I'm like, damn, that is really cool. So I play Pikachu in Brawl as well. So I was like, you know what, might as well carry over this little mouse Pokemon that I kind of know what his moveset is about. So hopefully it translates. It did not translate whatsoever. Um, so I started playing him. I started practicing on my own in training mode. I got 20x. I got the 20xx ISO on my on my HP laptop.
Let's
um,
go.
and I was like, this feels a little different than CRT. But just trying out the little things or just getting to know a little bit more about the mechanics of the game on my own definitely helped my experience. I'm not gonna lie, I like my first set win is probably not as memorable as I wish it were. Like I think it was just versus a Fox who was not more than like a year into the game. And I was what, like maybe 6 months into the game at the time. um, so I was like, damn, I won a best of 3 versus a Fox. This is so sick. Maybe I'm not going to be an O2er forever. And you know how every new person that gets in the Melee has this vision and, is like, oh, I want to be the next Mango. I want to be the next H-Box. I want to be the next Armada. Or just like whoever they sort of idolize as their competitive goal to like strive towards.
Yeah, you have a North
Um,
Star for that.
Exactly, 100%. And I feel like very few people don't have that sort of vision. I feel like even the top players that we're seeing now, taking over the ranks of the old, 5 gods, I feel like even they had idols. And I feel like anyone in this community find someone to idolize. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that this game is very much based on inspiration, and I feel like you have to be or sorry, I feel like you have to hold on to that inspiration to actively just love the game. Because I don't like, for me personally, as like especially, I would not have the drive to play it if the game at top level was not as hype as it was. And I feel like I can say that's the case with a lot of people. Sure, it's fun, being good at your mid-level uh, local, but watching a major or just watching a high-level tournament or watching the grands of your like local is a different experience. It's like it feels sort of surreal sometimes. Because you're just like, damn, that is somewhere that these people have gotten with the amount of practice that they put in. And theoretically, I could also do that if I were to put in the same hours. And just that little slimmer of possibility is enough to keep people hooked onto this game. And I feel like that is a very fantastic feeling that isn't as prominent in some of the other esports that I watch. I feel like Melee is very much built on emotion, like I've said before, and so that sort of carried me. I went from that to my first tournament, which was like my first, out of school tournament, which is GOML 2019. Being in Toronto, easily accessible. I signed up to volunteer at the sign-in desk, which is super sick.
What a move. That's awesome.
Yeah. um, so I signed up for that. I met some great, other people, like some high schoolers, some other people in the community, and I had a great time during that weekend. Actually, so this was after I'd been helping organize my school's weeklies for about a year. I started in 2018. Obviously, had the summer off because my school, because I don't have any summer classes, so I didn't really have a reason to be on campus. And GOMO 2019 was the summer after, so it was basically perfect. I had no school to attend, and it was right after the semester ended. So here comes May of 2019, and I go to I've registered to play, and actually no, I did not register to play for that one. I was going to, but then I was like, this costs a little bit of money.
No school, but also yes, I know the
Yeah,
stage of life you're in at this time. Yeah, that makes
yeah.
sense.
So that was what that was like second year for me, or yeah, that was after I finished second year. I was like, don't really have a job yet. I need to just relax. Maybe I'll just be a part of the community more before I sort of go full speed into this competitive deep end. Um, and obviously I played a lot of friendlies that weekend, because the sign in desk for people that are just getting into Melee and trying to get involved is one of the most low effort volunteer jobs in all of Melee, because you only have to be like, you have to be there early, but your job pretty much ends at like noon. um because that's when everyone's already in the venue, and you can just go hog a friendly with your group of buddies, or like the people that you're volunteering with, or just anybody that's at that setup. And people are really friendly to newcomers, at least in my experience. um so that happened. So that weekend was great. I met a lot of top players. I had some great pictures
Yes,
taken.
yes. Is that the axe picture on your Twitter profile?
Yes,
Then
that is the axe picture. I
was
think
that
I'm
before or after grand finals?
that was huh I have to remember. One second. Let me. That was before. That was not the last day.
Oh, phew. Good, 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 good.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean, look,
I know.
you got to do what you got to do. You got to get a picture with somebody.
Yeah.
But boy, after grand finals, when you finish second,
Especially like that, dude. That was a very hype grand finals. If you look at the Gamo 2019 VODs on YouTube, you can actually see me cheering for X right at the stage after he beats Leffen um in the losers bracket.
and that was a great year to be a
Oh
Pikachu
yeah.
fan and an Axe fan.
Oh yeah.
That was the year of the Pikachu for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that was super inspiring. And I met Axe like 3 times that whole weekend. I met him with Amsa. I met him with Esam. And then I also got a picture taken with Mango, because Mango's insane. Mango's super cool. He won the tournament. Someone handed him a beer, I think like 2 seconds after he got off stage from like the award ceremony. And then we all just got in line to get pictures with Mango, and Mango's just there, holding his beer, and then we're all just like, oh, this is so sick, dude. I get to take a picture with Mango, and that was super hype. And just to mix my TOing into that weekend, I was actually also just impromptu asked to help run the Brawl side bracket during Gauntlet 2019, because their person didn't show up, I believe was the case. I hope I'm not wrong about that, but I think I remember that was the case. So I said, I've used Smash GG before. I've used Challenge before. I know how double like limb brackets work, even though I'm a total noob. And so I ran the Brawl bracket. There's so many Meta Knights in that game, dude. It was like maybe 20 people in the entire bracket, and I think like 12 of them were Meta Knights. So but luckily the top 4 was only like 2 Meta Knights, which is nice.
Well.
Yeah. But then the alternatives were like Snake and Rob, which is like
No ices. Oh, good for you.
Yeah, no ICs. I do believe, I don't know if ICs were banned or something, but I didn't see ICs in the entire bracket. Like I think the most popular was probably um it was probably Meta Knight, and then and I think there were like a couple Falcos, because Falco has some really weird jank in that game.
Falco's nice in Brawl.
Yeah.
If that shine were a natural shine, Falco would be
yeah.
top 3, I think.
Yeah. So I did that. I helped run the Brawl side bracket on the second day, so the day before, Championship Sunday. That was really fun. Got to meet some more experienced tournament organizers there that were just a part of Gommel's organizing team. And it was overall great. Like everyone that was there, that was quote unquote in charge, was super nice about anything I asked them. And they just were like very kind to all the volunteers, whether they were experienced or inexperienced. And that entire weekend was a really fun and exciting part of my Melee journey. So I'm really glad that I had that because I haven't gone to a major since. Mostly because 2020 happened, school got a little bit busier, and then pandemic happened. So, um, but yeah, from there, after we went online, this is where my main TO experience started, where I was no longer just a side TO or like, a co-TO just helping out whoever was actually in charge. This is where, I actually took charge, started doing online brackets for our tournament series at UFT at the University of Toronto. Kept the name the same. We just added the word online at the end. So in person, it was called Pit Smash because um, everyone assumes it's a Pittsburgh tournament because it's called Pit Smash.
That was me,
Understandable.
although I did notice
So-
there's not two T's. Okay, this is important. Pit
Yeah.
is two T's. I don't
Totally-
live in Pittsburgh, but I'm
totally-
in Pennsylvania, and I know how it works.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll let you go.
Yeah. Totally an understandable conclusion to come to. But it's called Pit Smash because the area where we had our tournament, that little basement area, it's called the pit because it's like the bottom floor of an engineering building, and there's like literally like a sunken pit / sitting area in that basement. So and then our CRTs are like lined up like around the railings of that of the pit.
Oh,
yeah.
that seems so cool. I can't believe
Yeah.
I haven't seen any pictures of that. Should have gone deeper into your Twitter.
And sometimes when like there was nothing going on in the actual pit, we would actually set up grands in the pit, and then people would just
Yes.
be like around the railings just like watching, and
Let's
it was
go.
a super sick experience. Yeah, even though it was like a 25-man local, but it was really fun.
That's the whole thing. I'd like that there could
Yeah.
be flavors of this. Like I really, Homemade Waffles was on
Mhm.
the Melee Stats podcast, Waiting for Game, and was talking about how one of the tournaments he's finally bringing back over in NorCal is going to be inside of a movie theater, and they're going to have grand
Oh, yeah.
finals on the big screen. Like, how cool is
Yeah.
that? Like, I like that there's
insane.
flavors to different locals.
I'll see if I can find some pictures for you. But it was a really cool venue. It was on campus. So I decided to pay homage to the name, keep the name, just add online to it because I was now doing it from the chair that I'm sitting in right now. So Pit Smash Online started. We ran 15 iterations of it from the start of the pandemic to, well, I want to say this summer of the first summer of the pandemic. Basically ran it from like January to August ish. So it wasn't a weekly; it was actually a bi-weekly with a couple of gaps in between, which is why we only did it 15 times. But it ran super well. Obviously, free to enter. I made sure we were very strictly region locked because internet issues were the first thing I heard from so many people about. This is why I don't attend this random online weekly that I know nothing about, because it doesn't have a proper region lock, doesn't have proper restrictions. People come from all over, and just one set from a random person with bad internet connection can just ruin your like entire experience. And I feel like Melee should not be make or break on one set of your or sorry, so like someone's Melee experience for the evening. Like just as someone entering a local should not be make or break on one set that was played at not an ideal setting. So we did that. I made the graphics, did everything. I do a little bit of graphic design on the side, just for Smash people or myself or just any of my friends that need it. So did all that, ran the
Wow.
stream. Yeah, ran the stream all on my own pretty much. Had a couple of my Pit Smash folks come in and commentate when I was tired or busy. But most of the times it was just me doing solo commentary, or just it was either me doing solo commentary or me running bracket while I had someone else's Discord hooked up to the stream. So it was a big learning experience because from the start to the finish, there were a lot of changes to how the overlay looked and how the experience ran. And I felt like that's sort of the iterative design process. Not trying to get too nerdy here, but that is the real term for it. That's what happened over the course of 15 brackets, and we got better and better. People didn't complain after the first or second one, really, because the first one ran a little bit slow, just because it was literally my first bracket. I was running on my own. So we did that. I believe we capped it to 32 entrants, just because I had school, I had a little bit of a life, and we started at like 7 p.m. So they usually ran till like 10 to 12 anyway, because I would like to have as many sets on stream as possible.
All best of fives, it sounds like, too.
It was best of 5, yeah, in top 16.
Gotcha.
So that was one of the things I learned. You know what? Let's dive into a little bit of the technicalities of TOing these online brackets. One of the major complaints that top players and just any people like whose stream I hop into while they're in bracket, what they talk about is winners plays out and then it stops. And then losers has to waddle behind and catch up before the people in winners are able to play again. So what I started doing is I started to make best of 5 start in winners earlier than it did in losers by 1 round. And that changed everything. That like offset how much the winners had to wait by almost like half an hour. So basically, if you were in winners, I believe that would make it. I believe that would make it top 20 best of 5 technically, because it was still 8 people in losers would be in best of 5, but at the same time 12 people in winners would be in best of 5. I forget how the actual numbers worked, but it was something like that. Just a 1 round offset between the best of 5 and the best of 3, and it took away that little dead zone of people in winners having to wait out for the people in losers to play it out. And that helped our downtime on stream a lot, actually, too, because obviously our priority was to stream the winner sets, but now we could dive into losers because there wouldn't be a huge dead zone of while the losers are still in like their second round and then winners is in like winners finals.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a big disparity, but with 32 people, that's like 2 rounds apart.
True.
So like I said, just a lot of little improvements here and there. One thing on the Twitch end that really excited me was what's it called? The predictions feature that got recently added.
Yes.
And that is huge for tournaments. That gets you so much chat engagement, is insane. I stream. I have like a couple hundred
mods.
Followers. Yeah, I have like literally a couple hundred followers, but every bracket would get pretty much as many entrants as we would have. So if we had like a 20-30 man bracket, we would get 20-30 viewers consistently. And most of them weren't even the actual people entering. Most of them were just friends. Right. Could you give me a second?
Yeah, no worries.
I'm at door.
No, you're fine. All right, while we're taking a brief intermission, I would like to talk to you about... No, I don't have a sponsor. I have the Patreon, of course, which you can go check out at BSMPod, patreon.com/BSMPod. Yeah, I knew that. But I wanted to also say that I will be going to Pound. I will be going to Pound 2022. And the whole idea there is that I'm going to try to be doing all the things. So if any of you who are listening and watching are going to Pound, please hit me up and say hello, because I will be there. Alrighty. Did we get you back, so, Schmeez?
I'm back. Sorry. There was no one at my door. It was just the wind, because my window's open here, so the air pressure in my room just flung the door open because it wasn't properly closed. I got a little bit spooked.
No, of course. This is no, absolutely. I'm glad you're okay, first and foremost.
Yeah, no. So yeah, back to Pit Smash online. So from there, I grew a bit of a following, got a little bit, my opinion mattered 1% more in the Melee community. And I was like, yes, this clout, I'm just injecting it into my veins, even though it was like 10 more followers on Twitter. but obviously it's not for the clout. Like I was barely ever on camera during my brackets, and it was mostly just about giving the people a good stream experience, which I feel like some tournaments can do better. Obviously they get more viewership because they have more players enter, and they have larger, and some now even have insane prize pools for online brackets. I was just trying to run a Northeast, uh what's it called, a Northeast North American weekly. I was region locked pretty much
Yeah.
to, yeah, to like
That
the top right of the states.
exactly.
And then
That does a
yeah,
big part of like making it smaller just by the fact that you're not opening up to the entire North American continent.
yeah. And I feel like that was important because internet issues were probably like one of the scarcest issues we had throughout the entire couple months that we ran the bracket for. People started, tweeting about it, and people like appreciated the work I did, and it's always nice to be like appreciated, even for some of the smallest efforts that you put into something that you really love and are passionate about. So that kept me going. Even though school got busy, I kept doing the weeklies. People had a good time. And basically, when the summer happened, we had hope of, going back to in-person school after that summer. So we ran not a big, but like our final Pit Smash 15, which I marketed super, super hard. I got some decent level top players in there. We had the grand finals of that tournament was Zuppy versus Aklo.
Very
Um,
nice. Let's go,
yeah, so
Aklo.
yeah, Zuppy actually won that tournament.
Okay, well, hey, I know Zuppy's a really, really good player,
Yeah.
but I think Aklo has done that one or two times. Aklo went down to Xanadu Legends or whatever the tournament was called a month-ish ago, and then called everybody out for not entering weeklies or locals.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that Aklo backs that talk up. I didn't know that he went up to, because I was up in Toronto, right? Like, I'm just double, triple checking Toronto for Pit Smash. And then proceeded to lose to Zuppy. Get owned, Aklo, but still, that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, Zuppy, fellow Canadian, fellow, Ontario player, super sick. He's a super cool dude. I've like been in his stream a lot recently because he's been grinding the online tournaments. And whenever a player that's at that level and is like borderline about to break into the top like tier of players and can really pose a threat, that is when they are at their most entertaining. I feel like, at least for me personally, because
the up and coming nature of that, you mean?
Yeah, it's just so inspirational to watch.
I'm this close to being Tier 2, dude, on the PG stats C tier player for 2022. Let's go.
I genuinely think I mean, obviously, like Zuppy is like busy with school now too, but if he, I definitely think Zuppy has top 10 potential.
Yeah,
and I
agree.
And I think we're only going to see more of it as he gets better. Obviously being a box player, he is sort of in the limited population of Melee, but that population is now growing pretty healthily. And I definitely feel like just new players or just people that aren't super competitive or just newcomers in general getting to experience more people stream their runs, even in the smallest tournaments, is only going to push the community further. And like everyone always says, Melee is nothing without its grassroots. Well, the grassroots are also nothing without the top players supporting us. So I feel like it has to sort of be a complementary relationship, and it has to be back and forth between us lower level TOs and top players that are passionate about the community and want to see it grow. So huge shout out to Zuppy and Aklo for being in that bracket. That was obviously my highest viewed tournament ever. And that was the only one with a prize pool. That's what I meant by I heavily marketed it. I put in $50.
And so you're gonna get those numbers. We're gonna get those numbers. Make those $50 count. Because if you did that every time, it'd just be like, I haven't been able to eat meat for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, that would be a little bit tough on my student lifestyle. But super grateful for that. So that summer happened. I was like, okay, Pit Smash going on pause because we might go back in person. Didn't go back in person. Months went by. COVID restrictions in Toronto, in Ontario, no sign of getting better whatsoever. Obviously Toronto has been a little strict compared to the States. Like I know the States have opened stuff up more than Toronto has. Like even now, our restrictions just got lifted on March 1st. And I know the States have been pretty open for a few months now. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's about right. I mean, I
Okay.
sort of judge it on. I do a little bit of traveling, if you will, for my job.
Mhm.
So if I see a lot of people wearing masks, then it's just like reading the room, because I'm doing what I can for myself, wearing masks and everything else. But I
Right.
sort of see what everybody else is doing around me, and it just it varies from place to place. But for the most part, you're right. Things have been opening up. There's more people out and about. There's less people wearing masks. A little concerning, but
Yeah.
I
Luckily, the mask
that of course
policy,
is that's a worldwide thing and less of a me
for sure.
problem.
Luckily, the mask policy in Ontario still in place. Very happy. I love my masks because I actually have some fabric ones now with the actual filters sewn into them.
Oh
So it's
yeah, I
like,
know what you're talking about.
yeah. So I don't have to feel that abrasive texture on my face for hours on end anymore, which is nice. And I've gotten pretty used to wearing a mask, and I probably will continue to wear a mask a couple months after the policy gets lifted. Just as a precautionary, measure. Obviously, double vax plus boosted. So I am impenetrable, except for obviously that people can still get COVID. So please wear your mask and please be safe. So like I said, months went by. We were just waiting for some positive news, because I said we were taking a break from online Pit Smash because I was getting busier, and I didn't want to just take a break, come back, and then in person comes back just a few weeks later, because then it would be like, I'm just swapping back and forth between taking a break to going online to waiting for in person to return. And I just figured it would be logistically easier for me to just relax for a bit and just wait patiently for some opportunity. And that opportunity came just at the end of last year. So in the fall, so this is a bit of a time skip now. Pretty much, so we're going from like the end of 2020 to like fall of 2021. Between the end of 2020 and fall of 2021, not much Slippy got released. I played a lot of Slippy. I'm still bad at the game, but that's whatever. I can wave dash back to ledge now and not SD. Let's go. Easy dubs. Fall of 2021. Some person in the CS:GO / FPS community, I don't want to mispronounce their handle, so I'm not gonna say it, because basically some verified user. I had just followed them out of association with other FPS pros and CS:GO players that I follow. So I saw them tweet, does anybody know anything about running Smash tournaments? I have a friend who owns a bar in downtown Toronto and would like to run something there. And I'm like, this is the most insanely specific opportunity I've ever seen in my life. So I got in there literally 3 minutes after they tweeted.
I'm in there.
Yeah, I've DM'd. One sec.
That's
let
me.
Let me just open the DMs really quickly. Okay. Where are we at? Yeah.
Oh, so you just said so much DMing that you have to scroll so far up. Is that what it is, Schmeez? Okay, I see you,
dude. It's just a lot of unread DMs. You know how it is. I'm just getting. I'm not even getting R bombed. I'm just getting the level below R bombed. It's fine though. Most of them are just my friends, but that's fine. Okay,
and
so
you
this
also
person,
know that the whole thing of this whole thing is that people just don't respond until you're holding a fire to their face. Yeah,
I agree, and that goes for people that are literally my friends as well, and not just insanely clouded verified users on Twitter. So I'm like, dude, can you respond? So I'll message my friend on Discord, dude, can you respond to this thing I sent you on this other platform? And they're like, oh yeah, sure, I saw it. I just figured we would talk about it somewhere else, not on there. I'm like, that's an insane sentence to say, but sure. Okay, so this DM, November 2nd, Right. I believe their tag is pronounced Lounders. Launders? They're based at Launders. Launders. So I'm like, hey, I'm a TO that helps run IRL brackets at UFT, and I've solo ran multiple online melee tourneys, and I'd like to know more about what your friend is trying to do. So they said to me, "Hey, man, one of my friends owns a bar at in Toronto called Clinton's Bar. Shout out to Clinton's. They're just fantastic people, and shout out to Daniel, the owner of the bar. I hope you somehow see this." um, so they said that he doesn't really know anything about managing that level of esports and whatnot. So then I was like, okay, that's great. I can definitely get involved. If you just, if you want to just connect us somehow. He gave me his number. I texted him, and then we got stuff organized about 2 weeks after that DM. So step one, move all the TVs from campus to this bar. Insane task.
It's a minivan season, baby.
It is. We did not have a minivan.
Aw.
It was multiple trips. It was a lot of work. So it was a brisk Saturday. A Toronto Saturday in November is not warm by any means. I was in a jacket. I couldn't even be in too heavy of a jacket because I wouldn't, fit in the car or squeeze through the door with with that jacket on while carrying a fat CRT. Because we have some fat CRTs, dude. Like I think we don't have many of the small table size box CRTs. Like a lot of ours are, oh, this is you'll find this in someone's living room about 20 years ago.
Yeah. No, I'm not a big fan of the small ones. I like mine to be at least a healthy 18 inches, and if not 20 inches. That's mine. 100%. I have to two-hand that into my local.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, I think we have maybe 3 or 4 CRTs that I am able to not two-hand. So, a lot of stuff to transport. We did that. I texted that person.
Yep, logistics.
Yeah, did all that, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, we'll let you try it out for free, and we'll see what happens. So no venue fee, nothing whatsoever, because he was just so psyched to help to run something Smash based at his venue.
Yeah, so why not Ultimate? That's a good question for me to ask. Why wouldn't it be an Ultimate tournament instead of because Melee? Come on, there's CRTs. Yeah, everybody's fair. What? It's not 1995 anymore, nerds.
Totally fair tournament, and the very luckily simple explanation to that is Daniel, the owner of the bar, grew up on Melee.
My guy, let's go.
Yeah, so insanely lucky, and I knew it was too good to be true, but we kept rolling with it, and everything ran fine. 2 weeks. So the second week of November, the third week of November, we ran our first event. We capped it at 24 entrants because of the venue capacities. Basically, the area at the bar that we had was like this back room where local bands would come perform, or local comedians. And we got the midday time slot before the evening shows started, which is why he was willing to let us have it for free, because we weren't competing with any business that he already had.
Right.
So it was a noon to 5 tournament, and their evening stuff started at 6:30. So it was the perfect time slot for us. So got everything set up. 24 entrants. We got some very notable players. A lot of people from Pit Smash just transferred over because they were the first people I sort of marketed it to. And then we also had Midnight Blue show up, who's a very prominent Falcon from Canada, super sick player. And we also had I'm missing names. Goose Khan, another prominent Falcon from Ontario. Slash Fox slash he has insane characters.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was nice having a local in person that had a bit higher skill ceiling than the one we did at UFT. Because this one was literally next to a subway station. Not that the UFT one wasn't. It's just that people find going to a bar more fun than going to a basement at a university campus.
Yeah,
which is fair.
Fair.
So another thing that I worked out with the owner of the bar was, I was like, dude, I will do literally everything. All you have to do is show up and put me in, like, just unlock the door for me at like 11:30, so that I can set everything up. In 30 minutes, we'll be ready to go. Bracket will start at like 10 after 12. So he was like fine with that. And then I also, with my insane levels of uh what's it called? Conversation. um I I was like, you know what? Maybe what if I entice people to buy food from here, but you discount it for anyone that enters? And he's like, sure. So he did it. We had it was like 15% off for any spectators and entrants that showed up for the tournament. So we had about 30 people in the back, all of them buying lunch from him. And he's like, dude, this is more money that I've made during the day, like ever. Um, because during COVID season, I mean.
Right, indeed.
So
Yeah, yep.
yeah.
That's business.
So he was
Business.
he was fully down with it, because people were down to wait for their orders because they had sets to watch in between. So he only had to call up like one of his chefs during the day to like work the day shift. And that chef could take their time with the orders, and people were totally fine waiting like half an hour for their food to arrive.
Please,
Because
I
they
wait
had
longer than a half an hour at some of these restaurants.
exactly.
In my day, there was one
Oh,
day
yeah,
in Yield,
absolutely.
2018. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I like, absolutely. And that was really nice of him to do, and it was nice for the people there because it prevented them from having to walk out into the cold. It gave the venue a bit of business, and it sort of offset giving us the venue for free. So we ran a stream there. We actually started the stream on the second week. I didn't really have it all set up for the first week because I just was more worried about having the tournament starting in week 1 rather than having a stream broadcast.
Right. Setups and stream setup in 30 minutes would also be fun. Very fun. Exactly. In a new spot.
Oh, yeah.
We need more outlets. That's your problem, not my problem. Give you a free venue fee.
Actually, that was our only problem. We set up 10 CRTs for 24 people, more than enough. People were doing friendlies after like round 2, which is what you like to see, because that kept people at the venue, and it made sure that people that went 0-2 didn't leave. So basically, we did that. The second week came around and happened. Same amount of entrants. I think we only had 1 week or two. Like, we had 2 weeks where we didn't fill to capacity. But I mean, COVID stuff, understandable. People don't want to travel in the cold. Plus, it's free to enter, and there wasn't a prize pool. So what I started doing from the second week onward was the 8 people that go 0-2, I would put them in a 4v4 crew battle versus each other on the side after they're done, because they would be done after round 2. And I would give a random person from the winning team a free lunch. So I spent a couple $100 on lunch over these few weeks. With no returns, but that's fine. Sometimes you save a little money and you just got to give it to Melee, because that's how Melee be, man. So we also got a stream set up, entirely new overlay. Was super, super excited to have everyone see it. People came out. We had a lot more, viewers, just because there were more top players entering. And then we also got Moki to come out, not to play, but to just come out and just support the venue. I'm like a pretty active member in his Discord, so he was down with it. He is not too far from downtown Toronto either. So it wasn't a terrible trek for him. So he came down, had a good time, and he also brought Monotheon, Quiggles, prominent Toronto players that are pretty heavily invested into the competitive scene, and have been so for more years than I've been in the game. So shout outs to them, great people, and I could not, thank people enough that have more experience than me for coming down and supporting the event. So we do it for 2 weeks. Winter break happens. We take our winter break, and then we do our what's it called? And then we sort of just go on break. So basically, we did the 3rd week of November, the 4th week of November, the 1st week of December, and the 2nd week of December. We did it for 4 consecutive weeks, all on Saturdays, noon to 5, at this insanely incredible venue. Winter break happened, and then COVID restrictions came back halfway through winter break. So that was 3 months ago. Now our TVs are stored in the basement of the bar, and I'm here at my house waiting for the university to let me back because we because the university policies sort of prevent us from doing uncapped events externally because we're still run under the school's name. So we have to follow those policies as a student club, unfortunately. So I'm hoping they get lifted by the time we get to the summer. But as of now, it is unfortunately looking like we have to go back to our in-person venue at school, which is I'm not obviously not opposed to it. I just wish we could speed things up a little bit. I'm currently in the middle of getting all of that worked out, so we've pretty much reached the current era of my Melee career. So that is what I'm figuring out right now, and hopefully Pit Smash IRL at the University of Toronto, downtown Toronto, will be back at a stream near you very shortly.
Why don't you just call it a different name at the bar, or is that not that?
We called it right. Sorry, we called it Pit Smash at Clinton's.
But like, I mean, like entirely, like get rid of the school name. Just be like, we're just a bunch of people. Who cares what school we're coming from?
Because our budget comes from school funding, and the TVs and the setups are technically properties of the university. So technically, we could just okay, we're like this is gonna be posted on YouTube, but we could just just take the TVs and they probably wouldn't notice because nobody really cares that much about Smash Club in the administration. But obviously, allegedly, we would never do that.
Well, that and the budget, that would probably be what they would care about more.
I mean, the budget thing I could solve more. It's just that starting the whole resource hunt from scratch. It's a lot of work, dude. I'm busy right now. I'm busy with life and being pretty much a solo TO. It's a lot of work behind the scenes to like make sure that your consistency with the events that you run is always up to what people expect. And that's what I try to do. I am a man of the people. I try to please the people, and when they are pleased, I'm pleased. So
just trying to ask the first questions that come to mind. What's awesome to hear is that you have a place that you can go back to, and it's not a bad spot at all. I personally love the whole concept of it's like a little gladiator arena for grand finals. That's what it made me think of. I mean, has anybody tried the "Are you not entertained" line and throw a GameCube controller at your face because you're gonna try to do the thumbs up, thumbs down?
Yeah, so it definitely has like CEO vibes, which is a very cool venue for a tournament where they walk into the boxing ring with their whole dance or their like catwalk and everything, and it's beautiful. I love that venue. So hopefully we're going down and we can attract more people because campus student restrictions have been pretty much lifted. So we could just up it to like a 48 entrant weekly. And I do think that the Toronto scene has grown enough with Slippy and with all the stuff that's happened during the pandemic that we would be able to foster those bigger locals. Maybe not on a weekly basis, but at least a bi-weekly basis. And they would obviously still be free entry, and the budget would still go to whatever we want to do for the entrance, whether it be have a monthly pizza party or something, or just add it, or just make it a pop bonus. But like again, that is stuff I'm working through on my own, and step one of that is begging for the university admins to be like, please just give us back our basement space on Saturdays that literally nobody uses and literally nobody cleans either. I've never seen a custodian down there in my life. I know you're not spending money on that basement, and I know you're just hoarding it for no reason, but it's fine. The university has been great with accommodating people with their budget all across COVID. So I'm a little thankful for that. But this is a very people are just pod champing right now. We are just like, please, I just want to go back to IRL Melee, because it's happening in the States, and Canada, as always, a little bit slow. And
hard to get upset though in this particular instance.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like everyone has their reasons. I understand totally from the admin perspective that it's hard for them to go on a case by case basis when there's this many cases to deal with. So they do have to just generalize how they deal with student clubs, which is unfortunate for smaller clubs like us, but it's beneficial to larger clubs who are given priority when it comes to student spaces. Not the biggest issue. We hope to be back in time for sometime this month, or at least in April, and we hope to continue throughout the entire summer, going all the way to the start of the main semester in September. So I'm very excited to just soft announce that on this podcast.
Well, the best way to put it is that it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot more waiting to be had. There are enough things turning around with the general policy of Ontario and Toronto turning around to opening things up a little bit more, that campus universities and businesses, all that stuff will start to follow, because I know that you're not the only club at Toronto who's saying, when are we going to open things back up? Those bigger ones that Toronto cares more about, that the university, I should say, cares more about, are hearing that plenty from those groups as well. So even if you have to follow the same policy as the people who quote unquote get all the attention, it's not like they're saying, take your time, take your time. No, they want to bring all this kind of stuff back to run.
Like, they don't hate us. It's just hard for them to deal with so much stuff all at once. Understandable. I know the university is a big, fine private institute, but and they deal with a lot of money, and they're more than well off to be giving us the budget that we have. So money is not the issue. Obviously, just support from the university is not an issue. It's just a time of speeding up the process of getting access again. But it's fine. I'm not too frustrated about it. We'll get there, and I promise to the good people of Pit Smash and U of T Melee, or just Toronto Melee in general, you will have an IRL local coming to you very soon.
And when that happens, you want to know. You want to see the tweet. Schmeez, where can they find you so that they can see the tweet?
They can find me at Schmeez __ SCHMEEZ. It should be right here, or there, or here.
Sure. Sorry, I'm looking at the Discord call window.
I'm just gonna make you do like editing magic. It should be. Put it. Gonna appear, yeah.
Oh, I'm not that good at editing. Just put it's in the description below. See, you.
Yeah.
The viewer,
I'm pointing to the description, obviously.
The listeners, you go and do what you got to do, because.
Yeah.
Wait, why 2 underscores though?
Oh, because no underscore was taken, and so was 1 underscore.
Huh. Can we workshop that a little bit, or do you have to get going?
No, yeah, for sure. I definitely have more time. I actually had a couple more things that I wanted to talk about.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's start with me, and then we'll get to your things. Okay.
Perfect.
Why not do SSBM or Smash? That would be something instead of 2 underscores.
Because I don't want to be tethered to Melee forever. I do want to be a part of the esports community for as long as I can be. And Melee is obviously my start, and right now my entire experience in the esports community. SSBM Schmeez, I just don't like it because I don't play competitively that much. I'm a TO. I'm a TO. I play with my friends in Discord. I'm very active in Moki's Discord. Shout out to all the good people of what's their Discord called? Moki and _ Doki. Very creative name.
But I can see the inspiration there. No, you were probably a fan of Smash first and a fan of Moki second.
Yeah. I can actually tell you how my tag came to be. It's like not a super funny story, but I feel like it's also not a super common story. Basically, when I first started university, we sort of a lot of my new friends at university, they were very fond of Discord, and I was not a big Discord user in high school. So, because for me, it's been a Facebook / Messenger life pretty much my entire time up until university, where Facebook and Messenger were like still prominent, but for more organized stuff and more organized social like conversations, we would use Discord more. So when we started messing around with making different Discords for our classes, just to stay organized and have like group study sessions, because it's easier to have them online as a commuter. Just to preface, I did not live on campus. I live slightly outside of Toronto. So when it's cold season, my exam study sessions were from this chair and not on campus because it's very cold. um, so yeah, we started messing around with Discord, and I think one of my friends just like tried to spell my name in like Discord TTS, and they like did a type. Okay, my name Shashwat, Shashwat. So they like messed up the typo, and the Discord TTS does not sound like a normal human. It sounds very robotic. So that it pronounced the typo like Schmezwat. Um, not two E's, just it just I don't know how it pronounced like that because I'm pretty sure the typo was only like 2 letters. Um, so from that little blurb, I was like, that's kind of a funny, goofy name. From Schmezwat, we went to Schmeezwat because Wat is at the end of my first name, and then we went to Schmeez because it's like I don't know, it's just a shorter name. Um, and uh, and then from the SH, I added the C because SCH is always cooler than SH.
Huh. So, but Schmeez with just SH is available on Twitter, yeah?
Yeah, I don't know actually. Let me check that.
All right, let me run a few more by you. We could do Schmeez if you please.
No, Schmeez is taken. No, I'm lucky.
No, no,
Or
no, no, no,
SH.
no, no, no. At Schmeez if you please. I know it's a little long,
Oh,
but that's something. You obviously have, Schmeez official or official Schmeez. You also have TO_Schmeez and vice versa. You could slap it on at the end. You could do Schmeez esports. You could do that. You could do this. I'm just thinking of a couple things because
one
I
thing
love the underscore thing, but then I start to. It's like an avocado. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I'm throwing my opinion in here pretty hard, and I don't want to put you on the hot seat.
I was not a fan of the underscore for the longest time, but it just grew on me because I also made it my Twitch because the same thing happened on Twitch. Schmeez was taken, Schmeez underscore was taken. I wanted to. I was this close to doing Schmeez IRL.
Yeah, like fiction.
Yeah, and then I was like, maybe not. And like it wasn't even because of fiction. It's just like something that people put at the end of their tags in like content creation. And I was like, I'm not really a content creator, and I'm like, maybe the double underscore is just fine. People will know it's me. um, I was, and then another thing I contemplated swapping it to was actually grilled Schmeez, just because it's really funny.
Somebody would like start to very confusedly ask you, "Is it something that you make?" And you go, "Oh, bless you, no, it's not."
Oh yeah. So that I think that like I think grilled Schmeez was probably my longest running Slippy name. Just because it's like a really funny.
Oh yeah,
like,
that's fantastic.
Play on words. Yeah. So maybe I'll swap to that in the near future, but I'm just hoping that the person that has no underscores lets go of it at some point or reads my DM that I sent to them like a year and a half ago.
Oh, they don't check Twitter.
They definitely check Twitter or Twitch. Like the person that has it on Twitch, I think the last time or like the last update to their channel was like 6 years ago. Yeah. So I gotta just wait for that, or take the easy way out, get a couple thousand followers, hit up the Twitch people like, yo, you want to hook me up with this? Please, pretty please, with a cherry on top. And they'll be like, sure.
Are you in our partner program? And you go, exactly. No, not yet. And I go, oh, well, that's too bad.
Almost, yeah. No, but honestly, I don't know. Maybe I'll take up streaming after I graduate and start living on my own. Because it is fun. I like talking to people. You can see I'm a very big rambler. And I hope you're happy with the amount of conversation I put into this because I'm gonna be very tired after this. I'm an old man. I'm about to turn 23. I don't know how old you are, so I don't know if that's funny or not.
No, that's funny. I'm 26.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Because it's always unfunny whenever I say it to someone that's like a year younger than me. I'm like, dude, they're like, dude, you're not old. Shut up. And I'm like, dude, I'm getting there. Yeah. So that's how my tag, came to be, and I was just like, and people like it. People call me by it all the time. People call me by it in person, in DMs now too. Just because Shashwat, not the easiest pronounceable name. It just be like that. But it's a cool name though. If you're like, oh, that's such a sick name, I'm still gonna call you Schmeez though. Because Schmeez is also a pretty unique name, because I feel like I don't know, it's just not a combination of letters that you see very often. um,
It would be an
so yeah,
excellent Wordle if it were actually wordable.
dude, that would hurt people's feelings. Dude, double E into Z, oh baby, that's a Wordle for the history books.
Yeah. Yep. It's too bad. Okay, so
Yeah.
you got a couple of things you want to talk about.
Yes,
Let's go into those.
Yes. Beyond TOing, I've decided to, like I said, I do graphic design. I've decided to, push that stuff into Smash, into Melee, and be a part of the community from that side of Smash too, because that matters. Content creators as well as graphic designers. Smash is very insanely lucky that they have so many people putting in these artistic efforts to do all this stuff for free. Do you understand how many free skins we get for absolutely no reason, beyond the fact that people like to make them? That is, if you told someone that was playing Valorant that for some reason they're like, "Oh, dude, we have these sick custom skins that are like cell shaded and they look like anime characters, and it's literally free," they'll be like, "You are out of your goddamn mind." Because I have to pay $70 every 3 months when they release a new skin pack, and just to make myself feel like, oh, I'm included in this community because everyone else is going to buy them, so I have to too. And the modders and the artists in this community, insanely talented, very inspirational. Um, One of the people that I met recently from Moki's Discord, their name is Vino, or Vino_net on Twitter. Great artist, fantastic painter. Obviously does a lot of digital art, trying to make it as an artist. So if you want to see some really cool paintings, follow Vino_net on Twitter. But he has been a great friend so far in as a fellow artist, and I've learned a lot about designing for what streamers need, and I feel like I've gotten really good at it because I have been asked to do emotes for a lot of people now. I'm a big emote person in the Smash community. No big deal though. um, I don't know. It's just a really fun little quirky thing that I like to do, because I feel like emo art is very underappreciated sometimes. And to all the people that are out there making creative emotes that go with your channel's brand or go with whoever you're making them for, you're doing great work, and people will come to you like eventually, because people will realize the significance of being unique on the content creation platform as it grows or as it gets more saturated. Because 5 years ago, you could just go live on Twitch and people would watch you. That's literally how it worked. Now there is an insane number of zero viewer people who have put in the effort but just don't have that unique factor, because they're just trying to like replicate something,
Right.
rather
Follow the
than
formula.
yeah, exactly. And dude, people are out here thinking I'm just gonna follow this formula, but the secret fact is the formula is very heavily based on luck. um, the formula is very heavily based on luck and your ability to convey ideas in a manner that is not already being done by tens of hundreds of people. Um, and so from that perspective, it's not really luck, because being unique is not lucky. But also, if you are unique without putting in effort, without putting in the same level of effort, you're technically lucky. um, uh, so from the all this stuff that I've done for streamers like Moki, Zane, I've made an Xbox emo, I made an
Wow.
IBW emo. Yeah, I made a Swift I made multiple Swift emotes actually, because Swift fellow Pikachu brethren had to support them getting into Summit. Was I like to say I put in a lot of effort, helping them market their Summit campaign.
You did
And I
do a
think
lot of retweeting in that time. Good for
yeah.
you.
And I even made a
Emotes are
TikTok
helpful.
account during that time. But yeah, that was a very fun part of just just being a part of the community in a different way that wasn't a player or as a TO. And now currently at the moment, I'm sort of back in the TO grind for Moki's monthly, Moki's Dojo. which runs the first Sunday of every month. So tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow is the 6th iteration of it. So I was introduced to this community in Moki's Discord about like 9 months ago, 10 months ago. And I've been pretty active in there since, and I made great friends. All the people there, you guys know who you are. I'm not trying to say your names on a podcast that you didn't give me permission for, but you know who you are. Shout outs to you. And so I got asked to help run this tournament alongside some of Moki's other mods, and we've been growing for 6 iterations now. And this is an online bracket. Obviously, I have some experience with online brackets, but this is one that's streamed on a top player stream, meaning people are more enticed to join it. And all I have to do is make the marketing more broad and not more specific, because I don't have to put in as much effort to get people to join this one. So I am just dumping it in every Discord I'm in the self promo channel, and that's just how mailing marketing works, dude. Because if you yourself are not a big name, you just have to reach out to platforms where big names exist and are active, and you just hope you get lucky. Again, it's all the formula is just to increase the chances of something going your way. There is no formula to guarantee it, which is probably the best way to put it. In what makes something a successful piece of content, or what makes someone a successful content creator. So we're very excited to run that tomorrow. And we have some top players entering. We've finally coaxed Zane into entering it. IBDW has been on the fence a little.
Wait, which Zane is coming?
I think it might be the Marth, dude.
The Zane? No. Zane's gonna
win. Well, our last iteration, our grand finals was Vintage versus Bobby. Vintage, a very prominent member from Camp Zane, beat Bobby in grand finals, and Bobby is hoping to get some vindication this Sunday, and we'll see what happens. But it's gonna be a very, very spicy tournament. You'll see it on Moki stream. Moki does like to solo commentate. So it's very, so for me, I just sit in a Discord call and make sure that people know where their matches are and what to do. And it's a very like fun Sunday, pretty much. It does get a little bit stressful to start off with, because I think last, like, Moki's Dojo 5 was the first time we crossed 100 entrants. Because like I said, I literally throw it in so many Discords, and obviously Melee online, huge resource for just attracting people that are always fiending for online brackets, because people want that experience. People want to be competitive in this game now more than ever, which is so good for us. Which is, I'm so happy to say that competitive Melee, maybe not at the top level, but at the mid and low level, is more than likely at its peak, more than it's ever been before. And I feel like I'm very comfortable in that statement because of the amount of resources that we have now. And obviously, huge shout out to Slippy and the team behind Slippy, including Fizzy and all of Fizzy's brethren. I could not have done any of this without you guys, because there's no shot you catch me running an online tournament with 100 people on old net play.
No shot.
Yeah, there's actually no shot. But yeah, that's that is my current thing going on in progress. But yeah, speaking of my emotes and stuff, I've been told that I have a bit of a talent for this type of stuff. I'm not trying to brag, but some of them are pretty insane emotes. So I think what I want to get into next is actually doing commission work for content creators, and just putting myself out there based on another skill set that I have that isn't TOing. And I feel like graphic design has always been a big part of my life. Like, I got into graphic design, I started using Photoshop and Illustrator 7 years ago, maybe. And I'm not saying that it's a short period of time. Like, I'm saying it's just been a continuous part of my life before I was even into Melee. So just having that spill over and just overlap with stuff that I'm interested in the whole content creation and the whole Melee scene, it's been so nice. I am gonna try to make more designs for like prints that people can get printed or like put on t-shirts and whatnot, because I feel like my sense of style has been pretty uh successful in terms of attracting casual smashers. Just to give an example, I was a part of the merch drop for the Galint Fall Open that happened at the end of last year. um I made 6 designs, or yeah, 6 designs for their merch.
I wanted all of
And
them. I just couldn't do it at the time. Just couldn't do
yeah,
it.
I think my hoodie's right there, but
Oh, that's the one I wanted.
yeah, give me a second. I'll pull it up.
I wanted that one so bad. Now I have to look at it again. Look at it knowing that I'm missing out on one of the best hoodies that have ever been made from the Smash community.
Yeah, this is look at that.
It's so good. It's so beautiful.
I love it so much. Yeah. So I'm very much into this this minimalistic vector art design type feel, because it's something that's really easy to put onto physical merchandise, and therefore easier to monetize than complex pieces of art, which can really only be bought as digital assets or like prints. And obviously, I I mean, like, I'm no genius, but I know that people don't just want like melee posters on their wall hanging in an excessive amount. And I've learned from the sales that I've had from that video right there, that stuff that is more subtle is what attracts the casual spectator or the competitive casual spectator. Our definitions for competitive spectator and casual spectator are really weird, because I feel like even our casuals, they all know how to wave dash. um but yeah, so doing that was a great experience for me, because that actually outsold any of Glint's previous merch by I think 2 times. And this was their third tournament or fourth tournament, so obviously like it hasn't been that long, but it was still a pretty big number for what I expected to get from that merch drop. So there I was like, maybe my brain works in a way that can attract melee people, or just smash people, or just people of whatever content I decide to get into. So that's how I was inspired to go on to make more like emotes and more graphics for Smash people. And hopefully going to continue to expand that with a commission sheet in the future, or a print shop, which I literally just opened yesterday. And I'm going to put some alternatives of that design up there. Maybe make a snowy like winter edition, maybe make a spring edition and a fall and a summer edition.
Go on.
Yeah, so people like, I hope people will be attracted to it. Like, I think I which other ones did I get for myself? I also got the Pikachu one with the leaves all around him. That one was my little shout out to Swift making it into Summit, or just because it's a Pikachu with a red hat and the Galint logo on the red hat. So again, thank you, Swift, being huge inspiration. Same thing with Axe. Obviously, it's just that Axe hasn't been super like as active in the online years. Um, but yeah, just having that succeed just lets me hold on to that inspiration that, okay, I know kind of what I'm doing. I just need to narrow my focus a bit, not spread myself too thin, and have this working for me on the side while I deal with turning into an adult. um, because that is also a challenge that is coming up. Currently, so this fall I start my final year, or my final 2 semesters, and then I graduate about a year and a month from now. A year and 2 months from now. Right now I'm actually in my like internship year, so I'm like working full time, uh, while taking a class on the side. So it hasn't been as busy as my like regular school years, but a 9 to 5 job has been doing the numbers on me, especially for some months. But it's gotten me more comfortable with having to deal with it, and being able to do all my hobbies and stuff on the side. So I feel like I'm a little better equipped to handle being an adult a year and a half from now. um, so I'm excited and scared for that. But I know people now that are in the same position, know people now that were in the same position, and I've taken advice from a lot of people, and just having conversations with people that are in positions that you want to be in. It's so undervalued. It's just like, you cannot get a better like you cannot get better insight than people that are doing what you want to do.
Right.
And I feel like people just sort of people don't take that as seriously as they should. And I feel like not just with Smash, people that are in Smash are not all into Smash. As in like their whole life isn't Smash. It's always Smash is their main thing and they have a side thing going, or they have a main thing and Smash is their side thing going. And so I feel like being able to find that part of your life, or being able to find balance in those parts of your life, is a very important factor in being able to enjoy both those parts of your life. Because I feel like if one of them starts to get stressful, you are either not balancing it right, you're putting too much effort into one and not into the other, or you're just not enjoying the one that you're not having fun in, because that's literally, I mean, by definition. um, but I feel like just getting advice from more experienced people has always been something I'm super keen to do. Um, so shout outs to anyone that I've ever asked a question, and a huge shout out if you've replied to me.
Huge shout outs to the Wannabes podcast for me, because that's how I decided that I wanted to do it. I talked to Wasabi and JD when I found their podcast. I told them how much I liked it. They made me feel empowered to try to do this myself. I was able to semi-recently turn around the favor. Shout outs to Behind the Pencil, which is something that Mikey Tabletop is doing, aside from also having the BDE podcast, which is not what you think it stands for. All right. Big Drink Energy, I think it. You know what? I'm not going to speak that too far. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But the point is that I was able to get some great advice from somebody who does a Melee podcast. I turned around, started doing it myself, and I didn't pass it on to somebody else who's doing a Melee podcast, but is doing a podcast of their own, because they listened to mine and said, "Hey, do you got any pointers?" And I said, "Oh, yes, I do. Absolutely. I would be happy to answer your question." And I may have typed one too many paragraphs, but Mikey was great about it. So shout outs to Behind the Pencil. Can't wait for that to take off.
Yeah. Oh, just one more thing that I have to make sure I shout out, because otherwise Slum is gonna be mad at me. I mean, not that he told me to do this. It's just that his tournament, like his
Salt Mine, is the best daggum tournament. Yeah, it's
so good. His passion for the Smash community might be unparalleled with the level of experience he has as a TO. He is so new to this TOing thing, but he's doing such a phenomenal job. And being able to help him out in the beginning, and now he's just self-sufficient. He's doing a great job, and he's an insane player. He's a box falcon now, I believe. So he is joining the rectangle regime, as I like to call them.
Rectangle supremacy, yes.
Yeah. Huge shout out to him, and huge shout out to him for getting me on commentary for a couple of the Salt Mine brackets.
And All Chat Esports, his esports team. Yep.
Yeah. Huge supporters of the Melee community. And shout out to Nightclub for letting me do commentary on their stream. Thank you, Riot Beat. I'm glad you believed in me without knowing who I was or if I existed or not. But I think I did a great job because you were happy with it. So I'm looking forward to doing more commentary in the future. I do like talking, very much so. I do like talking about Melee, very much so. And I do like talking to other interesting people like yourself. Cypher, Jesse, Cypher. But yeah, I think that's all I had to talk about. Any questions?
Yeah, so I did ask you where the people can find you earlier, but
right, yes,
we already know it's Schmeez __. I think the other thing that I'll say to wrap us up is that the Melee community has had a bit of a change in tone ever since the Salt Mine came through and introduced the idea of, hey, we should have people pay to enter into these tournaments. Yours, you talked to me about how it was free to enter and has been consistently free to enter, partially because of a budget afforded by the University of Toronto, partially because the reading of the room was nobody can really charge people to enter in an online weekly or an online event in general. And so now that we've gotten to the point where TMT is bankrolled by FlyQuest, which is really, really cool. And I feel like without this being something that I know about, I want the next thing to be an online tournament, either acting as a qualifier or just a direct sponsor saying, hey, whoever wins this tournament, you are going to get flown out to this big IRL event. That's what I want to see next. I think that all starts because of the hard work that you and other TOs did over the course of the pandemic of making online events viable by figuring out those steps of saying, we don't want people to wait 45 minutes or an hour from going down from winners to losers before playing their first loser set. We don't want anyone to feel like that they're just sitting at a computer playing a game. We want the stream to be fun. We want the bracket to be fun. We want the experience from start to finish to be something that doesn't replace IRL Melee, because you can't replace it, but you have to find a way to make it feel fun and make it feel the same warm fuzzy feelings that keep insane players like us playing Melee. Exactly. You gotta find a way to make it so that people want to come back instead of feeling obligated to come back. Schmeez, you are 100%. A big part of that picture, especially for the northeastern part of the North American country scope. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And thank you for having me. And just to like reiterate on your whole prize pool thing, obviously, because like we'd already narrowed our pool of possible entrants by region locking it, because internet was our first concern, right?
First big enemy.
Yeah, exactly. And so already having narrowed that pool of players, I had no intention of making money off of it. Just because I'm a student right now, I'm self-sufficient in my own little bubble, and nothing outside that is something that I really need at the moment, because because when you have school, like there's very few other things that you can sort of work or like dream about. They're like, oh, I'm gonna go do this, because dude, I got like 6 courses a semester. I do not have any time during the semesters other than the time I like take out for like once a week or once every 2 weeks to like play in our weekly or organize our bi-weekly. And just being busy has and that was nice, because I had a job at the moment and I didn't need the monetization. It was just nice to let people experience something like that for free. And now that people like Slum and FlyQuest and TMT are building on that, I only hope to see it move in the upwards direction, having the incentives for entering and continuously being active at lower level tournaments just keep on going higher, because that is the only way to help our foundation grow. And as our foundation grows, the entire community grows. So, yeah.
Schmeez, thank you so much for joining me on Bottom of the Smash Mountain.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thank you to everyone that is watching. Make sure you support Cypher. Follow me if you want. I sometimes tweet funny things, but most importantly, follow Cypher, because he has had some massive guests on this podcast, and I'm sure he will continue to do so. And bringing us content like this is always super entertaining. Could not ask for more from a great creator like yourself.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.